Right, hello. Rhopalostylus sapida, or the Nikau palm, also known as shuttlecock palm. This is going to be the first in a mini series, if you like, on some more unusual palms to grow here in the UK. This is a pretty good choice, I'd say, because it's from New Zealand, so it doesn't need super high temperatures. And I would like just to dedicate this specific video to one of my subscribers in New Zealand. Thank you very much for all the positive comments. Right, on with the video. So this is going to be the slow growing feather palm from New Zealand. A grey-green trunk, topped with smooth, bulging, glossy crown shaft. The leaves can get between 1.2 and 1.8 meters, forming an upright shuttlecock shape. So it is a crown shafted palm, so which means it's going to look quite tropical. They are fairly cold tolerant. They're not hardy to grow outside in the UK over winter, I wouldn't have said anyway. But these two plants I have here, I've had actually for 2 years. I got them as seedlings, so tiny little strap leaves. So the 2 years I've had them, the 2 winters they've gone in the greenhouse, on the floor in the greenhouse. It is heated, but still pretty cool. So obviously they sort of do nothing over winter and do their growing there outside from April to October here in the UK. So that's where they're going to do their growing. Like I mentioned, they are a slow growing species, so it's going to be a long time before we get any sort of trunk or crown shaft. But to get a pinnate species that's fairly cold tolerant or doesn't need a high temperatures to grow is always a bonus in this country. So let's take one away and just have a close look at one. So they're both at a similar growing speed. Both it's popped up exactly the same time, same pot, same medium. They both show this characteristic of a heel, where they've pushed out some of the roots, probably because the root has hit the base of the pot and then pushed upwards, so it's slightly protruding. Like I say, the growth rate is slow, but we've got this new frond this year, and there's a new spear coming out. So like most small palms, they won't take full sun. You can imagine in the wild they'd be in a canopy situation until they get a certain size before they get full sun. So in that respect as well, they're also less hardy when they're smaller, because they've got the protection of the canopy. So if there was a frost, obviously they'd be slightly protected. So as they get bigger, they'll be more light tolerant and cold tolerant. So this is one you don't see in the UK very often, or I've never seen them at all, other than I bought this online from a nursery in Cornwall. I think I only paid £5 each for these, so that's why I brought 2 in case I had a disaster with one of them. You can see some of the older fronds, that's probably a bit of winter damage, not cold, but just old fronds, sort of cold and then hitting the sun in spring. So not burnt as such, just showing a little bit of wear and tear. But in general, you know, compared to some palms, they do tolerate coming from sort of a deep shade, if you like, out to a brighter condition. Obviously these don't get full sun, they get a little bit of morning sun only. So you're looking at about just over a foot tall at the moment. So it holds several fronds, you can see right back to the strap leaf here. So it's not actually sort of shriveled up and gone brown, and died. And yeah, if you look up the sort of full grown size of these, they are good looking palms. I don't see why they wouldn't make a good house plant in a bright condition. Obviously not full sun again, but it's fairly near a window in direct light. I'm sure they'd do well indoors all year round. But yeah, obviously this is a in and out one. Out for the summer, in for the winter. So I mean, I don't really know much more I can say other than they've done okay for me. Like I say, 2 years on, and they are slow, but like most palms they will, as they get bigger, slightly speed up. And they do look good when they're bigger, because they're really sort of an upright, literally a shuttlecock look to them. So the fronds don't arch down at all, they're quite upright. And yeah, I think it's one of the only, if only, the palms sort of native to New Zealand, so that's a bit of an unusual one. So I'll do a little ease of care rating, if you like. Definitely a 9 out of 10. Really easy to look after. No major problems. I've had no pest problems with it. I've had no issue with, you know, you've got a couple of brown tip on the leaves, but like any plant would get in any natural conditions. They want to be fairly moist, not wet, but you know, kept moist. You don't let them dry out too much. So you don't want to be waterlogged either. So free drain and good water every other day seems to do the job. Obviously during winter I'll water them maybe only once a month, because they're not really growing, just to keep the roots moist. And looks wise, it's a pretty fantastic looking palm, I think. Growth wise, a rating of probably only 3 out of 10, just for the fact it is slow growing, but some things are worth waiting for. So yeah, like I say, this is going to be the first of a mini series. I'll be doing some other palms that I've brought this year, so this is one I've had for a couple of years, so I feel quite confident in giving this a pretty easy care. But some of the other palms I've only had for a month or two. But yeah, on the next videos we'll look at them and see any problems we've had and any, you know, wins and losses. Right, so I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.